And that actually brings us quite nicely into a question that I kind of had personally and maybe should have asked beforehand and maybe it's off camera. But I'm really interested in your work with Park Avenue Records. Obviously, you've got a kind of relationship with Charlie from kind of doing the rave stuff and Any Rise and the Mike Nights and stuff like that. But it does feel to me as though you're maybe doing more for them than they are for you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But would you say that's the case?
I feel it's because they do a lot behind the scenes and you don't see it being plastered in front of you.
Yeah.
But they're letting me take care of the music part while they take care of the, you know, the annoying PR stuff and writing press releases and all that. That kind of takes away from your creative output, because a lot of the times, one of the reasons why Empath didn't do as well is because I didn't send out no press releases. I didn't do anything with that song. I didn't do anything because I had the song. I was excited about the song. Other people enjoyed the song. And by the time it was getting released, it felt like homework. It didn't feel fun anymore. And I know it is homework. If you really want to do this, you need to do this. But it took away from my experiences and why I make music. So they're here to make sure that I get to make the music the way I want to, and they take care of the things that are no fun.
Right, fair.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? Because obviously you've kind of had that relationship. Did you meet him first at kind of one of the open mic nights? Would that be? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously kind of got to know each other just by being one of the best performers there. So they obviously wanted you to come back.
Thank you.
And then doing the garage rave and stuff like that. I'm guessing kind of a bit better. What was the conversation? How did that start about you actually kind of working with them on a kind of professional level to release the music?
Charlie approached me and he mentioned about some of the things he would like to be doing with Any Rise and Park Avenue and a couple different, one more avenue, actually 2 more avenues that he'll be talking about soon, I think. But it just seemed like something I wanted to be involved in. I wanted to, because I'm very DIY and I've been building up my own thing for a long time, and I felt like we could, if we put our heads together, we could really propel in an upward trajectory. Yeah. So yeah, I was happy with that, and I just want to be surrounded by people who are like-minded and who see. Sometimes I don't see the worth in my music as much as other people see it, but like Charlie sees it. Yeah. And I appreciate that a lot.
And how does it feel? Because I know there's kind of like a tight-knit circle there where there's obviously Too Common is kind of part of the label, but also kind of working underneath the label as well, kind of thing. And I know there's a few, like 40 Cal, P-Man, all that sort of like crew. How does it feel kind of working with them? Because from what I gather, they're all relatively new musicians. I think they're younger than you, maybe. How does that feel, kind of, again, being kind of a leader in the scene and stuff, kind of nurturing these new artists? Do you give them advice? Do you do that sort of stuff, or is it?
I feel like if they decide to ask me, I would. I would, but it's not something, because we're all grown men. Yeah. And I can't just walk up to another grown man and be like, actually, I would do this way. I should be able to do that. Yeah. I should be able to do that, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right, because maybe it's something to do with my own self-worth, because I don't really see my opinion as that important. But then again, I've managed to get to certain places, so I must be doing something right. Yeah. But when there is a opportunity where I can say something without sounding condescending or oh yeah, Dialone did well and it got played on Represent Radio, this is why you should listen to me. I don't want to come off like that, and they're all very good artists as well. I know it looks like they're starting out, but like Eddie K, he's been writing like songs for indie singers and stuff for like for ages. Yeah. I didn't want to curse on this, but
monetization on YouTube.
Yeah,
don't sweat.
I have to bleep that out. but yeah, so these are all people like 90 Bro knew Too Common way before I did.
90 Bro knows everybody though.
Actually, yeah, 90 Bro knows everyone. So P-Man's dope as well, and like people are just So if they ask me for advice, I will. But I just don't like coming off condescending.
Fair. Getting back to kind of the single releases, Sober Up was the next one. And that was a really interesting one, because I think that was where you kind of got a little bit more creative yourself with kind of how you were releasing that. I don't know if there was anybody's kind of input on this, but like kind of the dance challenge that you did, which was, I guess, mostly kind of just a bit of a laugh. But it actually kind of worked as well. I really enjoyed it, at least anyway. What was the kind of thing behind that? How did that all come about?
I saw Sam Tompkins do a video of him not even singing along to the songs, but it was like a TikTok, and he was literally just doing like weird dances all over his house, and it just kept cutting like why you should listen to my EP or something like that, and it was just reasons like, oh, if you don't listen to my EP I'll go broke, like something like that. It was hilarious. So I was just like, you know what, I want to do something similar. So when I came here to record my shutter with Jay, the song Thankful, I told Jay, I was like, do you mind holding my phone for me and just playing that song a couple times? And I think that was the first time Jay heard Sober Up as well. So that was that was the whole plan behind it. I just want to, because it's easy for people to think that I'm just this one person, but even though I'm a multi-layered human being, it's easy for them to think that I'm just this one person where, like, when they hear my music, they're like, oh, wow, like, it's probably very deep, maybe fake woke. Like, he probably just sits there and talks about self-loathing and its existence or something like that, but I'm not, so I wanted to show that side of my personality off. Through the little videos and stuff, and as I do through Instagram, like I laugh at everything.
So with Sober Up as well, it kind of, we mentioned it kind of before when I saw a dialogue kind of taking a spit one lyric. It seems like Sober Up's kind of up there. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's, which one out of the three do you think is your biggest song now?
Sober Up.
Really?
Even though, well, it's catching up to Dialone in streams. It's all because Dialone's on 4K, I think, and Sober Up's literally about to catch up, so that's really good, and it keeps on growing. Whereas maybe people are just not as depressed now, but Dialone's not growing as fast. But I prefer it as well. I prefer the message. I just the energy it gives out overall, the things I convey. Because I always wanted to do like a really ironic party song where I'm telling people not to party, but because Kendrick Lamar did Swimming Pools. Swimming pools, so I always wanted to tap into that same energy and try and be like, you know, well, like life is better when you're sober, but like I hate being sober.
It's funny that you mentioned Swimming Pools, because I once had a playlist that had 2 songs on it. That was Kendrick Lamar Swimming Pools and Macklemore Neon Cathedral.
Other Side would be a mad song to have along Swimming Pools. Like,
I mean, I definitely played them all together, but Neon Cathedral, and I was thinking like that sort of song could very easily just slot nicely into DNO. Like Neon Cathedral, you just take it off and just, obviously it's Macklemore, not you, but like like you should just do a cover of that.
I actually really like Macklemore, man. Like I really liked Macklemore when I was Language of My Own World, I think. I liked the EP he put out with Ryan Lewis after that, and then there's a couple songs I really like on The Heist, but after that I haven't really listened to him.
The Heist for me is one of my favorite albums like ever. Like, as much as I understand that Kendrick should have won the Grammy,
I prefer Good Kid, Mad City.
I prefer The Heist, but that's because I'm a privileged white boy. So
that's wild.
I mean, yeah.
It's wild you feel like that, bro.
And I don't really like Kendrick that much in terms of he's like incredible lyricist, incredible kind of storyteller, and his albums, like if I was just paying attention to just the album and what it's about, I understand that it's great, classic, but as a rapper I just don't like his voice and his cadence, his delivery. Like, his flows are sweet, but like just how he sounds just isn't right for us.
That's wild, bro.
That's
how you feel, innit?
Yeah.
That's how you feel, bro.
Get out. But not talking about Kendrick here, so it's all right. And then the next single release that you put out anyway was Could Be Worse with Shaq. And it's really interesting because I remember when you talked about Sink or Swim, you didn't want kind of like any features on it. You had No Oneself. But was that was the only feature on?
That was the only feature, yeah. And he spun me on that verse. He spun me on that verse. See,
I see why you don't want features. Did Shaq do the same?
That's up to the people to decide.
But you're not admitting to it, so that's all right.
Nah,
you don't feel that
give it a year. Give it a year when I can get over it. No, yeah, No Oneself absolutely spun my head off on that song. That was wild. And I wish he would stay consistent. Like, I know he writes, but it doesn't. As soon as you make him feel like he needs to write, that's when he doesn't write. So like I feel like giving him time. Yeah. But that's why I always say on my outros, like, if I die, you're the one, bro. You're the one that has to do this.
Yeah.
Put pressure on him.
Yeah. But with Shaq, it's obviously kind of built kind of a good relationship with Shaq. We'll talk about how he contributed to the album in another way in a bit. How did that kind of relationship come about? Because I know Shaq came back, what was it, 2 years ago? So I guess it was around about the time you were starting working on this album. How did you kind of first meet and connect?
It was the Kush event. JK, we were opening up for JK. It was the Kush and it was the Kush event, and someone told me about Shaq. It might have actually been you, I've heard Shaq back in the day on Big Scene TV, but everyone's talking about IMU EP, IMU, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check this out because I listen to pretty much everything in the Northeast. I don't always like make it known that I'm listening, but I hear everything.
Yeah,
I see all. But so I really liked Pickle Rick, and I really liked Pablo, young Pablo, and he was getting off stage, and we were walking through this like little green room, and we were getting on stage, and I stopped him. I was just like, "Yo, bro, I listen to IMU, and young Pablo slaps." And then since then, he messaged me saying, "Oh, I'm about to listen to Sink or Swim." I think it was because I took the time out to listen to his project. He was like, "You know what? I'm gonna listen to him." And then we spoke for a bit, and we kept saying like, "Oh yeah, we should link up. Oh, what you doing? I'm busy. Oh, what you doing? I'm busy." And then we didn't speak for like a couple months. And eventually, I think it was last June. Yeah, it was around the same time. This time, pardon me. This time last year, and he told me, he was like, "Why don't you just come up to mine?" So I went up to mine. He gave me a bottle of wine, a pack of cigarettes. He just made me feel at home. Like, that's a way to my heart, bro. like vodka usually, but you know, wine works as well. Yeah. But yeah, and then since then we connected, and he's like, when you watch him work, he's just got a immaculate pen, and he's a nerd when it comes to this. The same way I am. We're geeks when it comes to just writing and rapping. I don't always make it known, because I'm not always there, like, I'm the lyrical miracle criminal, like, I'm not always on that, but everything I do is still very, very calculated when I write.
It's interesting you mentioned the JK thing there, because that kind of made us think, is that you were still kind of TGF at this point, and TGF was still going and running and strong. How was it kind of working with the kind of likes of Shaq, and I know you've been in the studio like Kush Noodle and Nighty Bro, Jack Craggs, and that sort of crew. And obviously you don't have any members and name to it, but then compared to kind of working with like Blitz and Fowls and Proj and all that group, how is the kind of the difference? Like,
the difference is the dynamic. It's as in, even though in TGF we were all still individual artists, coming together and working on music and pushing each other. Yeah. But in a way, we all had the group like the collective mentality that like we're together here, this is ours and this is what we do. Whereas like when I link up with the people you've mentioned, it's we're all individuals here, and we're just here to make a song or two, or like maybe I'll be able to add to that song, maybe you'll be able to add to this song. Jack, would you please be able to lend me your angelic voice?
Incredible voice. Yeah.
Amazing.
And how much contact do you still have with the kind of the TGF group? Because I remember Sink or Swim, kind of a lot of the album was kind of had production from like YH and Fowls and Proj, and then you worked with Blitz on his last album. How is that? Do you obviously not part of the crew anymore and whatnot, but do you still speak to them? Like,
I spoke to Blitz recently. I spoke to Fowls. I haven't heard from Decode. I haven't heard from YH in a while. I heard from Prod recently, actually. Yeah, we speak from time to time, but yeah, we're still cool. Like it's still all love. It's just we're going separate ways.
Yeah, and Prod is killing it at the minute. I see he's kind of a more electronic kind of production stuff.
Prod is
on like
wizard,
amazing radio and stuff, and it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
everyone, like if you're a rapper and you're listening to this, like you're watching this, listening to us, whichever, like whatever you're doing, or if you're playing this in the background and not actually paying attention, just go chat to Proj and shouting for instrumentals, man.
Spit one lyric too.
Working on it, man.
Who were the producers for DNR? Did you work with anybody that you kind of knew personally? Was it more kind of internet based? I know you do that
John
more
Dole.
So now.
John Dole.
What did he produce?
The last song, the outro from Borrow's Love, and Jack Craggs produced 96.
Right.
96 was a weird one because we were just experimenting. We were like, what? Because we were listening to loads of Jay Dilla and the way he like cuts up samples. And I was telling him, I was like, how about we just go to your grand piano and record the piano? Yeah. So he like reversed it, cut it up. I ended up falling asleep. I'm sure it was one of the sessions where I just ended up falling asleep. The first time I met Jack Craggs was I didn't sleep the night before because I was out on the night out. Then I went to talk to like my tutor, and then I had to wait for the train. Then I fell asleep on the train. Ended up where he lives, And he picks me up and he's driving me, and I'm like, listen, bro, I'm so sorry, but I haven't slept. I'm fucked. But yeah, we've been friends since. Yeah, when I approached him about, could you help me out with producing songs for DNR, after I told him the whole concept, he asked me, he was like, wait, is this like your suicide note? And it hit me. I was just like, oof, if this is how it's coming across, I'm not sure if I even want to release something like this. And I was still concerned about maybe other people being concerned about me when I released it. But I think I've had people, like close friends, tell me that they just feel like they know me a bit more.
I think for me, when I listened to the album, it was more so like it was hopeful to me. I remember you did the Instagram Live with Reality when he was trying to steal my job. And you were kind of talking about how like it was really important for you to kind of express the mental health side of it and all that sort of thing. But for me, it wasn't depressing at all. It didn't like get us down. It wasn't. I think he said that he didn't want to listen to it when he was in the car in case like he crashed or something. But for me, I listened to it and I just feel kind of elevated and just a bit more empowered.
That melts my heart, man. I love that. Yeah. Power to the people.
I think especially No Pagans at my funeral. I mean, I've shared it a million times on my Instagram stories when I'm just at Millennium Bridge. And like, because just that view and then that soundtrack, it just like makes us feel like on top of the world.
I love that, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I haven't, no one said that before, like about the album before. Maybe different people get different things. Yeah. Maybe you dealt with certain things that the album touches on, and therefore it makes you feel a bit more powerful. Because like I listened to 17 by XXX, and in the intro he says something like, "Oh, after you finish listening to this, all your depression, blah blah blah, hopefully it will be gone." And then I listened to the album, and I felt like shit afterwards. Good album, I enjoyed it, but I felt like, I was just like, you know what, there's no hope left in this world. And I didn't want to cause that to anyone else. I mean, I don't have like a crazy die-hard fan base like XXX does, but yeah.
You have a core listener where, like, I guess maybe it's all of your fans are your friends, but they were fans first in a way. Like when you went to shows, you've met people, all that sort of thing. So like you know your fans, so I bet it's more of a personal connection that way.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
So with No Pagans, featuring Jack Craggs, does the chorus, and you've said before that Shaq wrote the hook for that, which is really interesting because, especially being kind of a Drake fan and the kind of the whole ghostwriter thing with Drake, even though you never had ghostwriters because they were all credited.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you? Like, because I think a lot of people will think, oh, well, he should write his own stuff, even the chorus, even if it's not him performing it. Whereas I think it's actually a really good thing. Where do you sit on there? Is it something you're open to do more? Or?
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't think if anyone ever contributes even the smallest line to the song, they'll always get credited. Obviously, I write all my own stuff. Wink. No.
I do all the vodka bars.
Yeah, all the vodka bars are from him. All the spiritual bars are from my mum. She's spiritual.
Imagine just having a team of ghostwriters that do the different bars about different things.
Yeah, it's just... Bro, you gotta branch out. Like, this is why your man getting no streams. It's something I'll definitely like, because not every song I make is very hip hop. So let's say I did a fully pop, like a full-on pop song, and nothing's stopping me from making a full-on pop song. If I want to do that, I will do that. And if someone approaches me saying like, your voice would work perfectly with this, or your voice would work perfectly with this indie song that I just wrote, I would be on it. Like, I think when it comes to actually just writing bars, if you want me to bar out, I'll bar out. Like, I can do that. That's something I've done for years, and I can do that. But if an opportunity came to me, I don't think what Drake done was wrong at all. No. People try and take him out of the GOAT conversation because Hold On We're Going Home was written by someone. Like, is that the type of Drake that you think is the lyrical Drake? Like, I
mean, yes, I do, but
Hold On We're Going Home.
That is Drake's best song.
Wild. You've said some wild things during this interview, bro.
Play that shit at my wedding if the catch us slipping. That is everybody's wedding song from our generation. Hold On We're Going Home is the wedding song.
No, mine's just the two of us.
Fair. Anyway, but yeah, you are right. That isn't the Drake that you think of as the lyricist at all. No.
Yeah, 5 a.m. in Toronto, all that. He wrote that. Like, he wrote that,
just
and like
licked Common's head off.
Yeah. And The Weeknd. I think he was sent for The Weeknd there as well.
Was he on that one?
I think so. When he's like, a couple albums dropped, those are still on the shelf. I bet them shits would have popped if I was willing to help.
I can't work out when that was or which Weekend album that would have been, but I mean, you might be right, yeah. I mean, he sent for a few people on there. I think Chris Brown got some shots on there.
Yeah.
Serena even.
See, I wish I was that volatile, because like sometimes I think of bars. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This would be a sick sub at this person, but I don't have any problems with this person, so like.
Exclusive, because I do think of lyrics now and again, and I'll just write them down and just, they're always dispos. Like,
oh, okay.
And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be you, somebody I've got a good relationship, could be literally anybody, and because I always just think of name flips is all I think of really, because I'm not a rapper, I'm not a lyricist or anything, but name flips are just so easy to do. So
I might have sent you some reference tracks to like random songs that I wrote where I actually do fully just.
You do? How much do you want to go into that? Because I did kind of have a bit of a question. We can
go for it, man.
There was the kind of controversy that I think kind of got slept on a bit when somebody was wanting to set up a fake clash with you.
Oh, yeah.
And in our interview however many years ago, a similar thing kind of happened, because that was around the time when Just Being Blitz clashed on Don't Flop, and there was somebody who started calling your mum and all that sort of thing, and being kind of xenophobic and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't seen that guy, you know.
And we said at the time, it was also around the time that P Money and Dot Rotten were clashing, and you were very wrong in saying that Dot Rotten was going to win, because that never happened.
Nah, P Money's spun him. I don't care. Like, P Money's the king of grime. Yeah. He's the king of grime.
Gets.
Gets is the best. Gets is the best, but P Money's the king of grime.
Okay.
The most consistent grime artist of all time.
Okay, well, we'll not have that argument yet. And then it was kind of also a time when we were kind of talking about Bugsy and Chip and about how Bugsy came through, and you were saying at that time about how the best way to get on is by being a Clash MC. And it's interesting that kind of a few years later, maybe you matured a bit, maybe you changed your perspective a bit. You kind of didn't by name, but you called out this person and said that wasn't like the way to do things and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that situation?
It's not how you get respect from me. If you want to go bar for bar with me, let's just go on a set. Like everyone knows, if you go on a set with me, like we can go reload for reload and we know who'll win. Like I'm that guy when it comes. Yeah, for reload, it's not. People are acting like that's my only reload bar, bro.
It's not even your best one. All this conversation.
All I write is reload bars. That's why you can't go reload for reload with me. Like so. Like yeah, like there's levels to this, and unless you've been doing this for as long as me, or unless you've proved that I am someone that you should be clashing, or we have a legitimate reason, because the way I write lyrics is the way I've seen Blitz write lyrics.
Yeah.
Like when he writes lyrics for someone, there is no holding back, bro. Everyone, your whole family tree is getting burnt down, and then he's gonna be doing snow angels in the ashes. Like that's the.
Blitz is absolutely that guy.
Yeah,
just when he writes a tweet, he's that guy.
Yeah, that's what Blitz does. So after watching that for like 3 years, I can't do it any other way. Like recently I woke up on the wrong side of the bed and someone like pissed me off. So I wrote a verse and it is just as savage. But let's say me and this person that wanted to create like a fake clash, if like we could not be friends afterwards, bro. Like there's the things that I will say I will deconstruct your whole existence. That's what I'm doing. Like I'm not here to be like, oh yeah, well you rap bad. Like I'm not here trying to say that shit, bro.
When I'm dead and gone, to act like I was never wrong, trying to think of a better song, but everything has been said and done. Life's a joke, it's the one I pull for whenever I tell them one. Chase a dream, then sell it on. This weight I carry is felt a ton. One hand collecting stones, other hand on the pulse. Just a couple sheep dressed like Virginia Woolf. Anxiety slowly